We'll go with Rick Stroud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we saw that he was not doing anything yesterday. I mean, we'll have an injury report, I guess, but how concerned are you that this is serious? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's day to day. We'll see how it goes.
okay, Coach, you had Drew Brees has been in this league a long time, and I had a coach tell me that all he knew about Drew Brees was that he was going to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns every game. What makes him special? What has defined his career, do you think?
I think a number of things. Same system, same coach. You're not going to show him anything he hasn't seen. Just whether or not you can disguise it well enough and beat people one-on-one. He's had a really good offensive line while he's been there and good players around him. So that's a heck of a combination for success, and he does a great job with it.
Thanks.
Okay, next is going to be Greg Almond.
Hey, Coach, you talked a lot about all the preparation that went into this completely unique preseason and training camp, adjusting for all the changes with COVID. What's an example of something you guys have changed and adjusted since your original plans that's worked to help you get ready?
Well, there's new protocols coming out daily as far as what we'll do Mondays after games, and it's been that way the whole time. And biggest thing for us is different meeting rooms, how we're eating, how we're going to travel. Everything's different. So there's not one thing that's the same that we would have been in last year.
Are you comfortable with what you've been, in terms of having a plan and executing it to get to this point? Are you pleased with how well you've been able to do that under the circumstances?
Extremely. I think our guys have made a commitment to each other as far as the virus and staying safe. They've adjusted to every single change in the schedule, and I've changed schedules on them on purpose. Everything wasn't the same time every day. You had to read the schedule and you had to make changes every single day. And I might switch it at lunchtime on purpose just to make them adjust.
Thank you.
And next is going to be Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Bruce, regular season mode, and I'm assuming Josh Rosen will be running the scout team. How much true evaluation can you get on Rosen this year while running other teams' offenses? Is that something that will occur next offseason in the OTAs when he's operating your playbook?
Yeah, pretty much, because he doesn't get too many of those plays. Blaine Gabbert and Griff share those. That's the only reps they get most of the time. So there'll be days when he'll run the scout team, but most of it's going to be individual work and just watching him progress during the season fundamentally.
What type of injury does Mike Evans have in terms of the
It's
area
a soft
of his
tissue.
body?
It's a soft tissue injury.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, you said this crazy season could have the most impact when it comes to special teams and performance in that unit. And so, Bruce, in that regard, how challenging is it to play week one against a team that annually features some of the best special teams in the league?
It's always a challenge. Anytime you play a team that has quality of depth that they have, and they're going to have good teams. They're well coached, and it's always a challenge. No different than their offense or their defense.
Does it give you a little bit more confidence, Bruce, going in there with a reliable kicker?
Yeah, hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully he's reliable, and we'll see. And but I feel very, very comfortable with it.
Okay, next is going to be Ed Encina.
Bruce, talking to a couple of your guys on defense, the 2 games against the Saints last year just kind of stuck in their craw a little bit. What do you remember about, the way the defense played against the Saints in those 2 games? And, what do you think you guys might be a little bit more prepared for what they do?
I would think it would be a heck of a lot more prepared. We've got to see ourselves do it against them on film. Down there, we busted up coverage and gave them an easy touchdown. Carlton was ejected for a hit in the flat. There's a lot of things. We recover a fumble on a punt, and we don't get it. But again, it was more us inflicting wounds upon ourselves. Here, it was strictly the turnovers, quick, and then we didn't get off to a fast start defensively. We let them go down the field. So those things are all easily correctable, and they see themselves do it. So let's see if they can fix it.
Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Jenna Lane.
Coach, collaboration was a big part of why Tom Brady came here. And up until this point, you guys have collaborated on things like playbook and everything, but this is you guys' first time to game plan together. How much of a role has he had in doing that? Or does his role not really take place until the end of the week when you guys are selecting plays?
Yeah, it's pretty much at the end of the week, as we go through certain things, he might have an idea, but it's pretty much the game plan. And then he studies the game plan, he practices it, and then he'll pick the plays like all our quarterbacks always have.
How much are you and your staff looking forward to, being able to even bounce ideas off of each other right before the game or even in game to discuss what's happening on the field, for him to discuss the things that he's seeing out on the field, that type of collaboration?
That's really no different than any quarterback we've ever had. It's just that he's got 20 years of experience. So it's a little bit different when you're talking to him.
Okay, next is Kevin O'Donnell.
Bruce, there probably hasn't been this much hype surrounding the Buccaneers team going into the season, probably since 2002. I know you've said that you feel this is a Super Bowl caliber club. What advice or how do you want the team to approach just the hype that surrounds them and the expectations this year? Is it something you want them to embrace or kind of ignore?
Well, you always embrace it, then you forget about it. I mean, you're not going to go to the Super Bowl this week. You can only take care of today's work. I thought we did a great job of taking care of today so far. And again, tomorrow, just take care of tomorrow. Just a day-to-day process, and respect that process and come to work every single day and let all the chips fall at the end.
The fact that starting out fast, is that a major factor, do you think, heading into the season, given the fact that you have so many new pieces that are probably going to be growing as the season goes along?
Yeah, I think it would definitely help. I don't think it's a total necessity, but yeah, it always helps to start fast.
Okay, next is going to be Luke Easterling.
Bruce, Cam Jordan's one of the best pass rushers in the league. You're going to have a rookie at right tackle and Tristan Wirfs. How much can you guys, from a schematic and play design standpoint, help him out, and how much of that will fall on your quarterback to get rid of the ball as soon as possible?
I think both those things. I mean, when you go into a game plan, you look at all the matchups across the board, and you can't help them all, or nobody will go out for a pass. So a lot of times it's just send them out fast and let the quarterback get the ball out of his hand. But he's going to have to block him. There's no two ways around it. He's going to have to block the guy.
And to piggyback a little bit off of what Ed was saying, you've got three corners who are really young guys. They're all 23 and they are all big and fast and got the long arms to match up with a guy like Michael Thomas. How much more confident are you in those three guys in particular to be able to kind of hold him in check a little more than we saw last season?
I don't know if anybody's held him in check yet. He caught about 150 passes, but so I mean, take care of everybody else. And I like our matchups. They've all grown. They're better players than they were when they played him last year.
Okay, next is Tom Krasnicki.
Hi, Bruce. My question is a follow-up on Ryan Suckup. How's his leg looking in practice, and will he be limited in terms of his range? And I assume kicking indoors will help on Sunday? Yeah, I mean, we pretty much know his range right now in outdoors in the wind. We always find that out at the stadium every week. We come up, we mark the sheet where we're going to kick from each end zone. Indoors obviously should help to give 3 to 4 more yards, but we'll find out every week at the stadium. But, he looks pretty solid right now. Can he go from 50, you think? No, he's been 52 outside easily. Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Steve Isbitz.
Coach, how has Byron Leftwich matured as a play caller, and how has the challenge changed for him with all the weapons to manage?
Well, I guess we're waiting to see. He hasn't called. He called him against Todd a few times, and it's fun as a coordinator to have that many weapons, and don't feel like you have to get guys the ball. Just let the ball distribute itself. And Byron does a good job handling the running game and the passing game, and he's got a great feel for it, having been a quarterback, and how to call plays.
And how is Ronald Jones' confidence after adding Leonard Fournette? Did you have to have a chat with him, or just how does that work?
No, he just came out and practices as well as he's practiced all year for the last 3 or 4 days, and nothing I would have expected any other things. He's answered the judge. It's his job, and he's getting ready to play.
All right, next is going to be Zach Blobner.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, the Saints like to use Taysom Hill in a bunch of different ways. How difficult is it to game plan for a guy like that, and how is that being approached?
Who's that now? I missed the first part.
Taysom Hill, the backup
Oh, yeah.
quarterback, they use in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, he's a unique bird. You know, he's a tight end. He's a running back. He's on special teams. They got every fake known to man in special teams with him. He can throw the ball. Obviously, he's a backup quarterback. So, yeah, he presents a lot of different challenges when he's in the ball game.
All right, next is Greg Almond.
Hey, Bruce, I know you only had him for 4 games last year, but I wanted to ask you about Jack Sitchie. He's been through season-ending injuries each of the last 4 years. I just want to ask you what he showed you to get a spot on this roster and be with your team moving forward.
He plays really, really hard, and he does everything the way you ask him to do it. And you know, hopefully, he knock on wood, he can stay healthy for once. But you know, he's a heck of a high motor guy that does everything exactly the way it's coached.
Okay, next is Rick Stroud.
Hey, Coach. With Evans, the injury being what it is it fortunate that, I mean, he knows so much of this offense? See a guy that if he's healthy, he can go out there and play and not lose much by not practicing. I know you want him to, but what do you think? That scenario would bring?
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll take it all the way to the wire with him. He didn't, you know, if he's got 1,000 reps already for this game, so
Yeah.
you know, the whole camp. So it'll just be a game time decision. If he doesn't go Friday, we'll take it all the way to the ball game, and you know, and then if he can't play, you know, other guys will step in and step up.
And you've been a part of a lot of these iconic quarterback matchups. This one's pretty special, obviously, with Drew and Brady and him being here. As a fan, how much would you like to watch this?
Oh, I would have my TV on for sure. I'd be there early, probably with a few cold ones and some hot dogs. But I'd be ready when they turn for the kickoff. I'd be ready to roll.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we have time for one more. We're going to go with Jim Lane.
Coach, you've been doing this for a long time, and we know that you weren't here for the beginning of Ronald Jones's journey into the NFL, his rookie season. But you know, some guys, it just takes them a little bit longer. You know, the success, it doesn't click right away for them. Do you have kind of some experiences or some examples of guys you have worked with where it's taken them a few years before they really find their groove in the NFL, particularly at the running back position?
Yeah, I think most rookies are that way. You know, I've always said if they play before Thanksgiving, they're really special because it's such a different leap of the volume of information you have to learn to be able to play fast and still learn all that information. So, yeah, I've seen a ton of guys. I mean, our number 1 pick in Arizona didn't play. I don't know if he dressed for a game. And DJ Humphries, then he's been starting ever since. So it's just a matter of just drafting good athletes and letting them grow into the position. Don't force them in there.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.